Good morning everyone. Today I'm doing a tag video. I don't think I've specifically been tagged to do this video, but I thought I would do it anyway because it looked like fun, and I did need another video to upload this weekend because the house review video that I filmed last week, the sound was a little bit messed up, so I have to actually refilm that one. So I thought I'll do this because it's fun and I know I can sort of do it really quickly. So the premise of this tag is to simply just show the fragrances that you've worn the most and you have a substantial dent in. It doesn't have to be in any particular time frame, I don't think. So I have basically selected all of the bottles that I have worn over the years that have a bit of a dent in them. Some of them are fairly old and I don't necessarily wear them that much anymore. But in any case, there's a few here. I'll try and do them quickly. Famous last words, I know. So the first one I want to talk about is this one, which is Molecule 01. I don't think this needs that much explanation. I did jump on the hype train with this one a couple of years ago, and I confess I have not worn it that much in recent times, although I do sometimes still spritz it on when I go to the gym or something, when I don't want anything that's too much of a scent, I guess. I feel like this one, so this one and Juliet Has a Gun were really popular for a while, obviously. Juliet Has a Gun is still quite popular. I don't think I see this one mentioned that much these days. I still prefer this one over the Juliet Has a Gun. I feel like this has more woody nuances to it, whereas the Juliet Has a Gun just literally smells like I've sprayed some kind of chemical on my skin. So I quite like this one more. I don't know if I really get the concept behind these molecule fragrances. They just don't really resonate with me that much. But I guess also the fact that I have worn as much of it as I have probably indicates otherwise. However, I think the reason why so much of this is gone is because I re-spritz it so much because I can't smell it very well. So this one might be on the chopping board actually this year. So the next one is Eau de Sisley number 3. I really love this fragrance and I have talked about it quite a lot. So this is the 100ml bottle, which is, there's only a couple of drops left in it. I do have another bottle, a 50ml bottle, which is now almost half gone. I don't know why I do this. It's like I don't want to finish a bottle or something, and so I get to the last few drops in one bottle and then, you know, I buy the new one anticipating that I'll finish the old one, but then I just end up wearing the new one. I really need to stop doing that. But anyway, so that is the 50ml bottle. So I have, again, I've talked about this a fair bit in previous videos and even most recently in the hot weather fragrance video. I just really like this because of the ginger note. It's pretty green, a little bit musky. I kind of want to wear this today now. I'm going out for lunch later, so I haven't actually chosen my scent of the day. I am wearing Sandalwood Temple at the moment by Sana Jardin, but it's one of those fragrances where you could easily spritz something over the top if you wanted to, and it wouldn't be too clashy. So, but we are going to go smell some other perfumes. We're going to a perfumery that I haven't seen before in Brisbane, so I don't know, I might not wear anything. The next one is Champs Lunaires by Rouge Perfumery. Not a huge dent, but this is quite a powerful fragrance actually, and I don't really wear tuberose fragrances that much. Although that's a lie. I do really like my So Nude by Costume National, but I can't show you the dent on that one because the bottle is opaque. But this is a really sort of wet, almost green, but tuberose, but it's got a really lovely sort of fluffy vanilla note that's not too sweet. Oh, it's beautifully made. I love this fragrance, clearly. But I haven't worn it much lately just because I've gone off tuberose a little bit at the moment, I think. So the next one is one that I have also talked about previously. This is one of the first fragrances I had that wasn't mainstream. And this is Soma the number 39. I think they call it Pegasus now, but I think they also still refer to it as number 39. So there's a tiny little bit left in it. I think these are natural kind of perfumes. And this just smells really spicy, a bit earthy. There's lots of patchouli in here. There's ylang ylang and jasmine in here. It's a really unique fragrance, really interesting. And I did have a previous boyfriend who just loved this fragrance on me, and I just sort of tore through that bottle, and I thought they'd been discontinued, but they haven't. It's just that they had some trouble at some point getting them shipped to Australia. I think it must have been some change in the shipping laws or something. So, but now they're shipping them back to Australia. So I'm contemplating getting another one, but on the other hand, I wonder if maybe I should just let it go and just leave it as something that I have enjoyed previously in my life and not try to revisit it, you know. The next one is Kai by Kai. I think I have also talked about this one in the same video that I talked about that one. This is another sort of early indie niche sort of fragrance for me. This is a really beautiful white floral fragrance. The colour's turned a little bit now because of the vanilla, I think, but this just reminds me of Christmas about a decade ago because I was wearing it a lot in the summer of that year. I just adored this fragrance, and I bought the linen spray for it as well, which is now empty, but I used to spray everything with this fragrance. You can still get it too. The next one is one that you can't get very easily anymore, and this is called Eau de Rouge by Bvlgari. This is the red tea scent. This is a 100 ml bottle, so there's a substantial dent in it, but I also had been through a 50 ml bottle of this first. I was wearing this in my 20s, so this bottle is fairly old now. I haven't worn it for a really long time. I just remember thinking that I felt so grown up and mature wearing this fragrance. Actually, so I did go through a bit of a Bvlgari kick in my 20s. They were sort of, I couldn't really afford them. Well, I could just afford them, but it was a stretch for me at the time. And I just remember thinking that I felt so grown up and chic wearing Bvlgari fragrances. I really do like this one. I think this one is still very unique. Yeah, this and the green tea, the Eau Extreme. I don't have the bottle of that anymore, but I also had a bottle of that, which I really, really loved. You can't get that one anymore, I don't think. So that is the red tea. So just keeping with the Bvlgari theme, I'll just go through all of them. Bottles are really dirty, sorry. This one is Voile de Jasmin. I have talked about these all before, but that's a substantial dent. Again, I haven't worn this for such a long time, and I've lost the lid. I don't know where the lid is, so I should probably just get on with wearing the rest of this because it probably will evaporate. But it's just a really beautiful, transparent, airy jasmine scent. It's a very clean jasmine. There's no sort of indolic sort of notes in there. It's very easy to wear. It's pretty light though, so I don't think it has huge longevity. I used to layer this a lot with this one, the Eau de Sisley, and I thought that they went really well together in the summer. Anyway, so that is Voile de Jasmin by Bvlgari. And then the last Bvlgari one I have to share is also very dirty, and I've also talked about this before. I do have a new bottle of this because I managed to find a newer bottle. It's been discontinued now. This is Rose Essentielle. It doesn't smell quite the same, the newer version, so it's obviously been reformulated. Again, I was wearing this, I think towards my late 20s. I think this was the last bottle of Bvlgari that I bought, and so it still smells good actually. It does smell a little bit. I think it's turned a little bit. If I spray it, it just doesn't quite smell the way it used to. Somebody suggested I should put it in the fridge to see if that rejuvenates it. I don't know if that'll work, but I'm going to try. But again, this is one that I used to wear, and I used to wear to work, and I'd feel very sophisticated and mature. And I thought I felt like people should take me more seriously. Even though I was only in my 20s, I felt like I would be taken more seriously if I was wearing something like this. So yeah, it's a beautiful rose fragrance. The next one is a L'Occitane fragrance. This is the Verbena one, which I can't remember what they actually call it, and it's not written on the bottle. This was gifted to me, a L'Occitane gift pack by a friend of mine who I used to work with years ago. She's sadly passed away now, but this is just a really beautiful, verbena scent. So it smells a bit like lemon or lemongrass, and it's beautiful to wear after the shower. And I like to spritz it on then because it feels really fresh. It doesn't last super long, but just that burst of sort of lemony freshness at the very opening is just absolutely great. It's just great. It's a wonderful fragrance. So that is that one. The next one doesn't have as much of a dent in it as I would have expected given how much I've worn it. But I think it's because if I overspray this, it gives me a headache. This is Nuit de Cellophane by Serge Lutens, and that is the dent that I have made in it. I think I only bought this in 2019, late 2019, so I guess that's not too bad. I don't know if I wore it too much over winter this year, but I definitely wore it quite a bit last summer. I don't overspray it. I literally just do 1 or 2 sprays and that's it. But this is a really beautiful, I think it's meant to be a white florally kind of fragrance, but it's got a bit of a peach note in it, and it's a little bit shampooy in a way. It's kind of crisp. There's a crispness to it, or a squeaky crispness, so I think it's been aptly named in that regard, because the texture of it in my nose does feel a little bit like cellophane, that squeaky crunchiness that you get. It's just a really interesting fragrance. I really like this. Again, I think I've said before, it's quite polarizing. Some people really hate it, but I really like it. The next one doesn't look like much of a dent, but this is my second bottle of this. This is Shalimar EdP, but if I turn it this way, it does look a little bit more representative of how much I wear it. I love this fragrance. I don't think I'll ever not have Shalimar EdP in my wardrobe. I don't think I need to say too much about it. I think everyone knows what this smells like. Oh man, it's so weird. Today I'm just in one of those weird moods where I can't decide what I want to wear for the day, and now I feel like I want to wear this, but I'm not going to, because this will overpower anything that I smell at the perfumery, so I'm not going to, but it smells so good. The next one is even more surprising in terms of the dent that I've made, because I only bought this, again, late 2019, but this is Souffle d'Orange. This is a Shalimar flanker. I was attracted to it originally by the bottle, but I really love the scent. It's a neroli orange blossom based scent, so this one actually has a bit more of a dent in it than the EdP, which I've had for longer, but yeah, this is a really gorgeous fragrance. I mean, Shalimar is one of those ones where I didn't really pay much attention to Shalimar until probably my mid-30s, because I think it was just too mature for me, and I didn't really appreciate those vintage style fragrances. But now, obviously, I love it. I think I have just about every bottle. I haven't tried the new one though, which I'm really keen to. Apparently it's very nice. But in any case, yeah, this is a very green, neroli based, petitgrain type of fragrance. I don't really see the similarities with the Shalimar. I think I've said this before. I understand that there are a lot of similar notes, and I do get that, but to me they just don't smell anything alike. The next one is Valentina by Valentino. This is my third bottle of this fragrance, and I don't wear it anymore, but I did try and wear it the other day, actually about 2 weeks ago. It's kind of just, I think it's had its day for me. I've 3 bottles of it. I think I'm done. It was definitely one that I could say was maybe my signature scent for a while, and I yeah, I really, really liked it. I thought I smelt very feminine, but still kind of a little bit sophisticated. It wasn't too, even though it's a fruity floral, it didn't really feel too juvenile to me. But I don't think I'm going to wear, I can't see myself wearing this anymore. But I definitely did wear it quite a lot in my, I think, early 30s was when I first started wearing this. I can't remember when this was released. It was definitely in my 30s anyway. I'm showing my age now, but anyway. The next one is Elisab Le Couture. You can see there's just a little bit left in the bottom of the bottle. I'm still in two minds as to whether I should try and get another bottle of this. This smells so fresh and clean, and it really does take me back to another time in my life when I was wearing this and ripped through this bottle. But yeah, this is a really beautiful fragrance. It's kind of, I don't even know what the notes are, to be honest. It just smells very perfumey, but it's very airy and sweet, and not cloying sweet though, kind of fruity sweet, and maybe a little bit musky. It's really good. I don't, can you even get it anymore? I don't know. I have a feeling that maybe it's hard to get now, but I'll try. Maybe I'll try. I think I would. This is one that I would happily revisit, I think, because it'd be really good for summer. The next one is Champs-Élysées by Guerlain. I probably should have pulled out my Samsara actually, but I'm not going to do that to you because this video is already getting a little bit long. This is basically a mimosa fragrance. To me, it smells a little bit like body lotion. So I like wearing this at night time after I get out of the shower because it smells clean and comforting, and I feel like I'm not, sometimes when I wear perfume to bed, I sort of regret it because I sort of think, oh, it's too much. But something like this doesn't feel like that because it does kind of feel like your skin. But in any case, I made a little bit of a dent in it. I only wear this at night time when I go to bed. I've never worn it during the day. And so consequently now, when I put this on, if I put it on, I feel like I'd be getting into bedtime mode because that's the only time I wear it. The next one is Balenciaga Paris by Balenciaga. This is only a little 30 ml bottle, but I do have a new bottle of this. And again, I sort of don't want to finish it. I don't know why. I want to start the new bottle. This is quite interesting. I think it's meant to be lilac and lilac perfume. So it smells kind of a little bit makeup-y, but not as powdery as some other makeup-y kind of scents. But it also has, I don't know, a bit of a shampoo vibe to it, but it's not sweet. So I really like it. I feel this is a grown-up perfume, this one. It's not not vintagey style. It does smell a little bit vintagey, but not vintagey like animalic, but sort of, I don't know. I'm not doing very well with describing this one, am I? It is a beautiful floral fragrance, but it smells like someone who knows what they're doing, if that makes any sense. So it's a great work scent, this one. The next one is Shiseido Zen, and maybe it doesn't look like that much of a dent. This is a 100 ml bottle though, so it is a fair dent for me. I like to wear this on hot days or when I'm going for a walk outdoors. I did go through a phase where I was wearing it all the time a few years ago. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Chanel Coco Mademoiselle now, because somebody's planted that idea in my head. And whereas before I really focused on the citruses, now I feel like I can smell Coco Mademoiselle, which is not my favorite. So I have slowed down wearing this because of that, but I don't know. It is a beautiful fragrance still. I think I will continue to hold on to it because I may come back to it at some point. I did wear it a lot in a very short period of time. So I think perhaps it's just that. I just need to have a bit of time away from it and then I'll be able to go back to it. So the next one is Aqua Universalis by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is only a 35ml bottle and it's almost empty, but I think I've mentioned this before many times. It's just a really good, clean smelling, light wearing kind of fragrance. It's not too offensive. I wear it a lot to the gym because I know that it's not going to offend anyone around me. And yeah, I wear this a lot. I wear it several times a week. But you don't need that much of it because it does project quite a lot. So because of the circumstance in which I wear it, which is going to the gym, I don't want to gas everybody out. So I do only wear a little bit at a time. The next one is so the last 4 fragrances are fragrances that I've only bought this year. And 3 of them I sampled extensively before buying them. But this one I did just sample in store and then bought it. And this is Chanel No. 5 Eau Première. I bought this in February of 2020 on my way back from our Japan holiday. And yeah, it's so good. This was my gateway to getting into the Chanel No. 5 range. What followed soon after this one was the Parfum and then the EDT, and just last week the EDP, just a little bottle of it though. This is a really beautiful sort of florally powdery version of Chanel No. 5. It's not, the florals in here are not as indolic or heavy as they are in the No. 5 EDP, but this is a little bit more powdery and just more light wearing, and it's very approachable. So worth a go if you don't like Chanel No. 5. So I did forget one, and I'm going to insert it in here before I get on to the last 3 because this one was bought back in 2019. So, but this is Serge Lutens Santal Majuscule. I can't believe I almost forgot about this one. So that's the dent I've made in it. I feel like it should have more of a dent in it than it does, given how much I talk about it. But it is a powerhouse fragrance, so you don't need to spray that much, and I don't. Although there was a particular holiday I went on where I did spray this a lot. When I think of Serge Lutens as one of my favorite houses, this is the first fragrance that pops into my mind as being my absolute favorite. It is my favorite from the house so far. I haven't tried all of them, obviously, but I really enjoy this fragrance, and it's so comforting in the cold weather. I do wear it in the warm weather as well, but not quite as much because it does project a lot. So, Santal Majuscule by Serge Lutens. Okay, so we're up to the last 3, and these were all bought this year. And the other thing I'll say too is that in the last 12 months or so, I have made a very concerted effort to make sure that I sample extensively before I buy a perfume. So the fact that these have the dents in them that they do is testament to the fact that I must really enjoy them, because I've already been through decants. I've been through samples, and then I've been through decants of these or travel sizes. And yeah, they are great fragrances, and I have worn them a lot. So the first one is Solar Blossom by Mizensir. Bit hard to show the label on that one, but you know, it doesn't look like much, but this is a 100ml bottle, so that's still quite sizable for me in less than 12 months, because I bought this in, I think, April last year. No, it was later than that, because I think I was sampling it in April. So I got given a sample of this, I think I was doing a masterclass with one of the local perfumeries, and it was online, of course, because of lockdown. So they'd send you out all these samples, and then you dial into a Zoom call and they talk through it. And I think this was one of the fragrances that they talked about in that call. And I went through that sample, and then when I ordered a bottle of perfume from them, which wasn't this one, I asked for more samples of it, which they gave me. And then, I just went, oh, I'm just going to buy it. I wore it so much in a very short amount of time. It was a really great time for me to have this fragrance, because we were in the height of lockdown at the time for us. I mean, I know other people have been in lockdown a lot longer than we have, but it was just a very comforting scent because it reminded me of my holiday in Spain, because it's an orange blossom scent and it just smells like Spain when the oranges are in bloom. It's amazing. I really love this one. It is very similar to L'Artisan Fleur d'Oranger. The difference between them, I think, is that from memory, I believe, when I sampled the L'Artisan one, I believe that one was slightly more citrusy in the opening, whereas this is more floral. So they're very, very similar, and the difference is pretty minor. But to me, the main difference is in that opening, which is more citrusy for the L'Artisan. So if you like Orange Blossom, but you don't want to pay the price tag of this one, then the L'Artisan one is a very good alternative. And in fact, had I sampled the L'Artisan one before I bought this, I probably would have bought the L'Artisan one. But I did really like the bottle of this, I have to say. Okay, I'm rambling. The next one is Gris Dior by Maison Christian Dior. And this is a 125ml bottle. I can't get that to go straight. What is wrong with me? I'm a bit of a numpty today. So that's a fairly sizable dent. Disclaimer, I did give somebody a decant from this. I can't remember how much. I don't think it was that much. But I did have an actual decant of this, a 10ml decant of the Gris Montaigne when it was still Gris Montaigne, and I wore that. So there's this plus the other 10ml that I'd already been through. And then the last one was inevitable, but this is Almond Woman by Almond Jane. Now, this is a pretty strong fragrance. I had I did. I had a 2ml sample, which came with another order that I made last year. So I ended up wearing that quite a bit because I could carry that around with me. And then I also had a travel size from one of the travel labs, and I went through most of that. I just gave that away to a friend, but I did go through most of that travel size. And then I've recently, it would only be in the last 6 months that I've picked up this bottle, I think. Pretty sure it was late last year that I picked this one up. And so I've worn it quite a bit already. I love this perfume. Just love it. I did a full review on this with Pep from the Sentinel on his channel a couple of weeks ago. So I think I'll let you go and check out his channel if you want to get my full thoughts on this. But just a very dark green, creamy, kind of spicy fragrance, and I just love it. This was my gateway to Almond Jane. This is the fragrance that I fell in love with first. It's ironically not the first bottle that I bought though, because San Paquita was the first bottle that I bought from Almond Jane, because that one was on sale, I think. This one never goes on sale, probably for good reason. So I eventually just decided to fork out the cash and buy a full bottle. Which brings me to another point. I mean, this is probably going to be the last time, my last opportunity to do a video like this, really, because I rarely buy perfumes brand new anymore. I tend to buy them secondhand through Facebook groups, because, people are constantly just buying and selling stuff, particularly, and I think it started to become more prolific during lockdown because people couldn't get their hands on samples, they couldn't go to a store to smell things, so they would literally just blind buy stuff and then they would consequently have to resell things. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that going forward it might be more difficult for me to do a video like this because sure, my bottles have dents in them, but those dents may not be 100% due to my wearing of them. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you thought that was fun. It's always fun to revisit my perfumes, and it's always fun. The best thing about doing these sorts of videos is going through my collection and piling all the perfumes onto the table. I don't know, I'm a bit weird. I really enjoy that part of it. So yeah, I guess I will leave it there. Thank you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.